Hi, folks. Oh my God, you guys are so active, man. Oh, I'm supposed to stand here. Okay. How does this work? Well, that's a very old pic of mine. I look way more smarter now. So, been there, done that. Actually, this is done by my PR team. The title was supposed to be "Been there, doing that." As you evidently see that I've been sipping on coffee, and coffee and beard is very close to my heart. Well, this is no longer there. Uh, but yeah, I was said that I'm going to get 30 minutes of time to entertain you guys. But then they realized that I'm a founder of a short form video app. So they said, can we make it short? I said, sure, why not? So now they give me 10 minutes. And yeah, how many of y'all are coffee? How many of y'all have or drink coffee or have drank coffee or like coffee? Raise your hands. Sir, half coffee, full coffee. You stay in Malaysia, buy two? Very nice. Thank you. How many of you all know the story of coffee, the origin of coffee? You do? Oh, lovely. So this particular man, do you see him? Can we have a two-way interaction? This is more than Bangalore. It's not a one-way street. Thank you. This particular man, apart from his beard, what I really like is he introduced coffee in India. Do you know that? So back in those days, this is not about Chingai, this is about coffee. I'm not endorsing any brands though. But yeah, back in those days, this particular man, so there was coffee that discovered was a very, very small group of people who wanted to keep it to themselves. And there was restriction on trade and exchange. So what this man did was very wise. He just put 7 beans in his beard and came down to Chikmagalur. Have you heard of Chikmagalur? Have you heard about Chikmagalur? Guys, if you're going to be so lethargic and lazy, I'll fall asleep here. Have you heard about Chikmagalur? Yes. Thank you so much. Let's not make this a startup, tech spark kind of event. Let's have it interactive. You can shout, howl, do whatever you want. Next slide. Yeah, so that's his story, and then that's how we got introduced to coffee. And that's why we see a lot of coffee brands and free coffee over here. So this was the story of Baba Budangiri. Have you heard about Budangiri? So his name is Baba Budan. He introduced coffee, and now let me take you to my story. Well, my name is Aditya Kothari. I'm born and raised in Bangalore, now living in denial because of the Bangalore traffic, clearly. My journey is very short and sweet, giving into the grind. So I was actually told to make a presentation. I told them, listen, I cannot follow the presentation. I don't have sync with it, but let's do this. The significance of listening to, knowing, and persuading the customer. Now, what have I done in life? Nothing much. My dad is a businessman. He's been in the stock market from the last 45, 50 years now, and that's the reason why my name is Aditya, because they were big fans of Aditya Birla, unfortunately. But fortunately, yes, I have a great name, but I've moved out, passed out from Presidency College, rather dropped out. And now I am the current founder of this short form video called Chingari. Have you guys heard of Chingari? We are close to professionally, yes, I'm a founder of Chingari, close to 200 million users as of today. We are a short form video app. We started off as a short form video app. Now we have moved and pivoted to the super entertainment app of Bharat, and we are also in the crypto side of things. We have a token called Gari token. Next slide. So my journey, well, I have done multiple things. Namely, I've had a lot of startups, a lot of failures. Started with a company called Surprise Inc. Well, back then in my college days, the event management was an in thing. And I'm like, let's do something different. Like, because every Tom, Dick, and Harry is doing event management, what do? Let's call it surprise planning, right? So what we really did is, I'm a Marwadi by profession and personally also. So what we really did was we started off something called surprise planning. Let's say you have X, you want to propose your girlfriend, you have a fiance, you want to like impress her, you have a lot of ideas. We'll plan the surprise for you, right? So we realized this one thing evidently, that the best way to sell is not to play with emotions, but mix emotions with it, right? Marriage and surprise is a very emotional thing, right? If your sibling or your girlfriend, boyfriend surprises, you'll be like, oh my God, this is amazing. You might just cry. So for that last bit of the tear is where we earn our money. When the person cries and like, oh my God, this is great. We did like 120 margins on every project. We ran that for almost a year and a half, but then my other co-founders were also Marwadi and Gujarati. They said, Dukaan jana hai. Papa bula rahe wahan pe. I'm like, cool. But then yeah, I could not continue that because it was operations heavy and it was emotionally heavy. So yeah, moved on from there, and then realized there is a startup called Flipkart. This is back in the days when Flipkart actually started off. Uh, but I had no tech experience. I'm a commerce guy. What do I do? And there was this particular event called Tech Sparks, which I'm really, really thankful for, Shraddha and Tech Sparks. Someone told me about it, saying that there's a lot of things that happen there. You will meet a lot of people there. बहुत सारे founders आते हैं, बहुत सारे investors आते हैं. I had no idea what is a founder and what is an investor because all I knew was partnership, LLP, sole proprietorship. ये founder क्या होता है, right? ये co-founder क्या होता है? That's when I made my way through, like every other student, college student who just passed out, no money, क्या करें? Great with Jugaad because thankfully, because of surprise, we had partnered with a lot of five-star hotels. So Taj just let me in the kitchen, saying that go from the kitchen, वहाँ पे कोई visitor pass होगा, ले लेना और डाल देना. That's what I did. And that's where I actually learned a lot, networked a lot, and got to know what is co-founder, what is partnership, what is tech, hota kya hai. And for 1.5 years, the journey went on. I started co-founder dating. I wanted a tech guy, and I had no idea what to do. So did that, started off my first company called Hey Leela after Surprise, which was a fashion discovery platform. Funny enough, the reason why we kept the name Hey Leela because the song Muni and Sheila was trending. It's as simple as that, right? And in this usual word, how to be unusual, right? You do something different. So we said, let's name it Hey Leela. And then what did we do? We just went on Twitter and said, enough of Muni and Sheila. It's time to check out. What? Thank you. And that grabbed the attention of all the investors, right from Vijay, Shekhar Sharma to a lot of folks. And that's how we got noticed. And we ran that for 1.5 to 2 years. That's where my real experience came in place, which was a phenomenal failure, but an amazing experience because that's where I learned what is a startup, how do you network, how do you pitch, how do you sell, how do you convince, how do you persuade, and a lot more, right from the engineering teams to your commerce teams. Moved on from there, realized that it's not cool to build something cool when people don't really need it. Hela was a fashion discovery platform, and we were the first ones to have Tinder-like left and right feature, and that was only for women. Moved on from there. Thank you so much. I mean, if you're commenting about me, that's great. Otherwise, we'll have some silence. Yeah. Moved on from there, and then I realized that there are a lot of e-commerce players like Amazon, Flipkart, and Snapdeal, and all of them advertise saying that we are lakhs and lakhs of merchants are along with us. I'm like, this is great. So I went to an area called SP Road. Are you guys familiar with Bangalore? Say aye. Are you guys familiar with Bangalore? Thank you so much. So I went to this area called SP Road. There are more than 3,000 electronic shops where you sell, right from your computers to your gadgets to your phone covers, etc. And I started talking to them saying that, hey, I heard you guys on Flipkart, Amazon, वगैरह वगैरह. So how's it going? And in Hindi they said, किसी ने मुझे भाव नहीं दिया, right? Like, what are you guys like? This kid is coming, he's like asking, what are you guys doing? Just हटो यहाँ से. Spent 15-20 days just doing that, got no response. Then I set aside a small budget of 10,000 rupees. And even today, I have a collection of pen drives and data cables and chargers and whatnot. Bought that only to realize that if I buy something from the shopkeeper, he will talk to me. And that's what I really did. Bought these items, spoke to them, then realized that none of them, 99% of them are not on these websites. मैंने पूछा क्यों? So they said, we heard that हम अगर phone भेजते हैं तो return में पत्थर आता है. You guys remember that? I'm like, oh, okay, education problem. Second, no education problem. 80%, 80% of my business is done offline. You see this? There are customers here, I can't attend to them. How will I attend online? And I don't know how to run a computer. I'm like, great. I'm like, third problem. आ जाते हैं सब लोग कोट वगैरह पहन के, but account बना लेते हैं, but उसके बाद पता नहीं क्या होता है. I'm like, great. Then I met around 756 to 800 shops in a matter of 2.5 months. Went back to them saying that if I create an account for you everywhere, how much can you pay me? And if I get you sales, all you have to do is, I will call you and say, yahan se sale aa raha hai, just send the product. Can you guess how much were they ready to pay me per month? Amazing, ma'am. इतनी भी बेइज्जती मत करो. 500 per month. Oh, come on, we are doing auctioning. Come on, be a little participative. Yeah, 10%, 10,000. Someone said 10,000. 10K, 5,000. They said, if you get me 10 customers per month, I'll pay you 5,000. I'm like, whoa, great business model. Now, I did not really know what a business model is. I hated Excel. Till today, I still do. But yeah, I'm like, okay, let me just hisab lagaya, did the accounting. I'm like, wow, I could make around 1 lakh easily, just from say 15, 20 customers. Did that, was making decent amount of money, was making around 3.5, 4 lakhs. One of my legal friends said that, dude, if you're really going to do this, you better do it legally. I'm like, what is illegal about this, right? They said, go and talk to these folks and see if they are okay with you doing this. When they say these folks, they're talking the e-commerce websites. I went to talk to these folks. Then I got spooned out, right? So they said, no, actually, a lot of folks said that we'll do this ourselves. You will not be legal. You'll not be able to do this legally. Stop that. Then I said, what next, right? ये नहीं चल रहा है, वो भी नहीं चल रहा है, अब क्या करें? Random ideas like we all get. I said that, yeah, ticketing business is amazing. Book My Show is making money. Why don't I get into this? But I can't get into ticketing because they are bigger players. I said, let me get into second-hand ticketing, right? Because if you remember in those days, we used to have these people selling black tickets outside, and now you cannot, right? It's illegal. I started off a website, actually no, I started a Facebook page because Facebook groups were pretty cool back then. And I said, let me validate this idea. It is called Spare Tickets. So anything, let's say if me and my friends buy 10 tickets for a movie and 4 of them don't turn up, which usually happens to all of us, what do I do with the tickets? I can't sell it. I just have to give it for free to someone else. So we started something called Spare Ticket, where people could sell those spare tickets either the face value or lesser than that. And it kicked off. We had around, let's say, 25, 30,000 members joining in a matter of a month and a half. Even till date, it's going on. The group is still on. We saved around 5.5 crore worth of tickets going for waste. It used to peak during the Rajnikant movie and IPL. Not just tickets. People were selling their Sterling holidays and whatnot. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Let's do this. Did that, built an app, but then again we faced a big roadblock where the government said you cannot proceed with this because legal issues, which we can talk offline. I said, we fought a lot and we said, ab kya kare, right? Legal fee ke liye paise nahi hai. What next? Then I heard, during this journey, I learned a lot about startups, learned a lot about business. The only strength that I have is common sense, right? Start using the common sense, start talking to people offline and figuring out what is the big problem that I can solve. And then in this process, started consulting a lot of companies. One of them, if you've heard about Bounce, have you seen the yellow color bikes? So been an early founding team member at Bounce with Vivek, Varun, and Anil. We've raised around 300 million oddish in capital. We are still called, they're still called Wicked Ride today, which is the parent company. I was with an ACL tear lying on my bed. Sorry, 5 more minutes. Lying on the bed. And I'm like, what do I do next? Because once you're an entrepreneur, you always have this bug moving around, right? That's one bug that you cannot debug, right? So I'm like, what do I do? I'm on the bed. I am feeling restless. My leg is like tango-fying like this. That's when I realized, okay, let me just reach out to my founder friends, reach out to them, start consulting them on the phone. Then I messaged Vivek. I'm like, dude, you guys have phenomenal, name called Wicked Ride. You're doing great. And I started consulting Wicked Ride. Then we pivoted to Bounce and bunch of other things, and started consulting a lot of other companies in the side. And that's where I understood that this is great. What next? Consulting, khali consulting nahi chalega. Ab kya kare? Then I realized, oh my God, there's a new market called Bharat, which apparently I hadn't heard of, right? Funnily, it's great how we separate Bharat and India, even though it's in the same region. I'm like, Reliance came up, free internet. I'm like, where's the free internet going, right? And I said, let's do this. A lot of startups said that we are in Bharat. I called up my cousins in Nagpur, Pali, Nagaur, Tunkut, Davangere. I said, have you heard about ABC? They said this, no, we've not heard. I said, what do I do? Then I packed my bag and started traveling to tier 2, 3, 4 cities, right? Oh, sorry, I forgot to change my slides. How do I go back? Yeah. start traveling to tier 2, 3, 4 cities just to realize that what's happening, where's the internet going. And to my shock and surprise, I realized that 99% of the janta in tier 2, 3, 4 are watching porn. I'm like, ye kya ho raha hai? But before that, none of them actually gave me a feedback or even spoke to me saying कि हम लोग ये कर रहे हैं. I spent 25 to or 27 days just talking to them and I had no feedback. Then I said, this is not West, this is not China, this is not US, this is India, right? Every 100 kilometers you travel, the language changes, food changes, and fortunately or unfortunately, even the abuses change, right? The best way to get feedback from them, I realized from my journey, was to be like them and be them, not like them. So I spent 6 months, became a soda wala, started working with soda guys, started teaching in schools, started interacting with housewives in multiple languages, right? Kannada, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, which I don't know, just to make them realize that, hey, I'm one of y'all. And that's when I really got the insights at what they really, really do with the internet, right? I asked them, do you use Facebook, do you use Instagram, do you use it? They said, no. I'm like, why? That time my common sense did not strike. They said, because it's in English. I'm like, so what? They're like, we don't speak English. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This was the basic problem of all these guys, wherever I traveled, whether it's Tumkur, whether it's South, North, East, West. That's when we came back and we said, hey, we should do something about it. TikTok was doing great. I still admire their AI ML team. We started a short form video app called Chingari, and that's how the journey began. We scaled to 50 million users organically without doing anything. And I think Sumit or someone said that you don't need branding. I completely agree with him, but I also disagree with him. You don't need branding and marketing to a certain extent, but after that you definitely need, especially if you have the money, Sumit. Right? That's when we started scaling. We grew to 50 million users organically. We definitely got lucky. I'm not going to be modest and say, "Arey, हमने तो पहले ही सोचा था कि we'll have like 50 million users in like 3 weeks." No. Right? As soon as there was an app ban on all the Chinese apps, we scaled from 4 million to 25 million users in a matter of a week and a half. Right? And in Sumit's word, हमारे server फट गए थे. Right? For folks who do not understand English, our servers broke. It's a very kind way of saying that. That's when we started raising funds, raised a lot of funds, which was not so much fun. And yeah, today we are at close to 200 million odd users. There's a lot of insights, but time. So if you have any questions, I'm not going to take it now. We can meet offline. If there's anything else, happy to chat. Thank you so much.